Let's talk Wars of Radiance.
Let's talk Words of Radiance. We'll do a quick non-spoiler, just how I felt about it, how you felt about it. Let's try to stay in Words of Radiance. I know you like to get angry at Brandon Sanderson, so just keep your feelings at just how you felt with Words of
Everybody, this
Radiance.
could be our last video. If he talks to me like he's my mom one more time, this could be our last video.
I'm just saying, for the sake of the
I
video,
hear you.
it's better remember the good times than
I have
than
nothing but
the.
good things to say.
Of course, it's one of the best books I've ever read. It's
Spoilers.
really good. Yeah.
Okay,
I
what do you
mean,
think about the book, dude? Stay on topic.
I I really enjoyed it. I couldn't believe how fast I plowed through the last like 500 pages of that book.
Crazy,
When
right?
it comes like I just read another book that was 500 pages long. It took me like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This book I was like I ripped it out in like less than a week. It was so fucking good. Um I don't even we're out of practice. We haven't done a video in a while. What about you? You've read it twice now. It's one of your
I'm gonna need
favorite
more
books of
from
all
you than
time.
that.
This is the
No, I
non-spoiler
think
part.
it's I think this is Sanderson at his peak. I think this is arguably the
Maybe
best
there.
book he's ever written. That isn't a Wheel of Time book, so not his original IP. So I think that's fair to say that shouldn't count.
Do you
Um,
think Wheel of Time, his Wheel of Time book, is better than this book?
I think
Words
the
of Radiance.
14th Wheel of Time book, I don't know, 12 through 14 as a whole was like my favorite reading experience of my life. So, yeah,
That's exciting. That's exciting stuff
for
for me.
me. But this single book, at the time when I read it was my favorite book I'd ever read. It is compelling. It makes
It's
you
got it
feel
all.
things. It has action. It has mystery, and it's got the story. It connects some things for you. You dive deeper into the lore of the series at this point. It
It
is
does something that I
truly
think
him at his
a
peak.
good high fantasy book does, where like by the end of the book, because you see it in Wheel of Time too, and lots of other fantasy books, but by the end of a book, there's usually some sort of like whatever has happened has changed the entire landscape of the playing
Yeah,
field.
yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah.
did it kind of at the end of the last one, and he did it again in this one. And I mean, fantasy books do this. Like one book, Rand is just, still just a guy that might have powers, and then at the end of another book, he is the chosen one and he owns a country. And that's kind of like how this one ends, and how Oathbringer kind of starts again, like where you're just like, things have changed because of this book, Words of Radiance.
Yeah, and I think and this isn't me totally talking negatively about future him, but where he really gets into trouble in the future is, I harp on this and I talk about how bad it sucks, but one of the big problems he has is that so much of his books can be cut, right? And when you're reading an 11, 12, 1300 page book, it's tough. And I read long books, but it's tough when you're wasting time and you don't feel it's like really contributing to characters or story or world. Like what those first three books do, in my opinion, for the most part, I'd say maybe the interlude you could cut, but otherwise, like Words of Radiance is so
Sure.
good in part because every single sentence feels like it needs to be in there. Every piece of dialogue, every internal thought that the characters have, every action that happens in the world is useful, progresses something in the story to a point where it's partially why I think it's such a hard book to put down, even on reread, because every line is valuable in that book. And I'm not saying that lightly. I mean, it's a very long book that I read in
It's like, yeah,
two
it's like
days.
1,100
I read it in
pages. Yeah.
2 days because it's so good. It is so
Yeah.
good. So, like,
That,
when I stop and
that's
think
impressive.
about what makes it good, though, it is on top of story and character and all of these things I've said. It is that there's just no garbage in there. There's no fluff. There's no harped upon points. Like you're not quite being handheld as much as you are in the future, where he harps and it's just perfection. I really
Yeah.
think this is him at the peak. And I wasn't reading books back then. I would love to know what if he was at the level of fame, when did he become so popular? And I'm sure it was with the Wheel of Time books in part, but if this series took it to the next level, and whether it was after this first book or after this second book, because the first
Yeah.
book, I love it. It's a 10 out of 10 to me, but this second book,
Yeah.
that's where you realize we've got something really, really special.
Yeah, yeah, it is kind of, it sucks because I'm even worse when it comes to him. Like I only really even found out his name like a couple years ago. So I feel like I'm super late to the game with this guy. I would imagine though, I mean Mistborn came out and I think he gained some sort of popularity from that.
Yeah,
Those are
some,
good books.
some.
And then he so much so that he finished The Wheel of Time, so that continued his popularity. And I would imagine when these books came out, it was just like,
Yeah, I'm just curious when it
holy
became
balls.
like, he's like the biggest guy in fantasy. But anyway,
Yeah.
what else about this book? Yeah, I mean, we could do spoilers, I guess.
We'll
I
jump
just
into
will say
spoilers. Yeah.
every character at this point in the book is just in this series is just like just perfect where you're getting just enough of them that you want more, never too much. Always like waiting. I remember with this book specifically, it's so good that you'll read a Kaladin section and then it'll try to go to Shalon, and I would skip to the next Kaladin section, you know, and then because I would skip the Shalon section, I was like, I have to know what happens with Kaladin. Do you know what I mean? And so,
No, because I was gonna say the opposite. I was
but
gonna
so
say
check me
every
out.
perspective shift I
But
love.
this
I
is what's
didn't care.
so good. This is what's so good is that then I go back and I'd read the Shalon section, and it would want me to go to a Kaladin section next, but I had to skip to Shalon. Like I'd have to know what happened. Do you know what I'm saying? Like where it would try to make you jump back and forth between
Yeah,
characters, I couldn't do
it's
it.
it's that good. But I think where I differ is like, even when it switches, I'm like, I trust that the Shalon chapter will be good, and I will get to whatever happens. I kind of like having the little
It
wait in
makes
between
sense. I was
perspectives,
like a crackhead
especially
when I
because
was
they reveal information in other people's chapters that are kind of
I was
important to
being a crackhead the first time I read it. I couldn't take it. I was like,
when I met
I
you.
just need more Kaladin. I just need more Kaladin. Tell me more Kaladin. And again, at this point, Kaladin was my favorite character in fantasy.
Dude,
It was the best. Spoilers.
spoilers into the book. Let's talk some scenes. I want to talk about a couple scenes that really hit me. I do think everything at the beginning, like I have nothing from like the first chunk of the book really that I wanted to talk about. I mean, it's a great opening. Every like I said, all the characters are in where we left them. Their stories are progressing. Shalon shit's more interesting. Yasna gets killed right
It's
out the gate.
refreshing to have a series literally pick up in book to book, to have a series pick up literally the second the last book left off. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't time skip at all. It's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good with these kind of books too, especially when they were coming out. I'm sure it was like, okay, these are big ass books. Okay, there's 3 or 4 years in between the release of these books. We better start them right where we left
Yeah.
them. But I really don't have much to say. The first part in this book, and I might be misremembering now, but when Shalon summons her shard blade and kills Tin, the bitch that is like a ghost blood that we find it all out about her at once, but it's
Uh
like
huh.
she's kind of sucked. I kind of wanted her to die, but I was like, Shalon hasn't really showed me that she's a killer yet. By this point in the book, you kind of infer. Like, I'm not gonna say the twist at the end with her really shocked me. I was just like, yeah, she killed her mom. Almost the whole book, I was like, she killed her mom. There's a shard blade in that box, but whatever. When she summoned that, like that was a guess. I was like, she has a shard blade and she killed her mom. I didn't know, but I was like, I feel this. So when she summoned that thing and killed that bitch with it, and that's like how a whole part of the like part one ends or part two. I was like, I was driving and I was just like, oh my fucking god, dude! I literally was stoked.
Yeah.
And not that I dislike Shalon in the first book, not at all, but it's just like I wouldn't have anticipated that I'd feel how I feel about her
Yeah.
now.
No, I definitely felt the same way in the first book where you just don't care as much. I think that's fair to say. Like you just don't care as much.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
I mean, you're still just figuring it all out at that point.
Yeah, and it's a
Um,
Kaladin book, right? The first book's Kaladin's book, so
yeah. So whatever. But by the time that happened, I mean, that was one of my first all-star knockout moments. And now I'm just gonna hit what I find to be the dumbest term. I think it's a terrible term. No, I know it's been around for a while. I guess people use it. I think the Sanderlanche is a terrible word. It's a terrible word. The only letter that Avalanche and Sanderson share is an A. So it's just I don't like I get it. It's bad. I guess it's stuck though. Whatever. That portion of the book is good. Whatever you want to call it.
It's good in
More of
every
a
book.
Sander slide. A Sander slide. That would make more sense.
It's good in
I
every
digress.
book.
Pattern, love Pattern, dude, love Pattern. I love everybody's spren. Oh, this book just opens the. You thought you kind of knew the world, and then the world was like, oh, but guess what? All these things, all these reveals. I'm gonna jump around, dude. Finding out that the shard blades are dead, fucking
Spren. Yeah.
spren.
Yeah.
I almost said sprites. All of that. I love it so much. I love the lore that this book enriched. I didn't think we were going to see the Parshendi transform by the end of that book. Holy fucking balls, they did, and it was nuts. In an epic battle. I'm jumping around. I want to try to stay chronological at least a little. So, I mean, we got to talk about when Kaladin hops in. So when I started reading this book, the Adolin and Kaladin like button heads the whole book. All I could think was, how cool is it going to be when they become friends? Because they're gonna. So it's just like, how cool is it going to be when they become friends? I couldn't wait. And I don't research any of the books I read beforehand. I don't go and see reviews. Now I have, and I see that everybody loves this scene, which it's brilliant. So of course, but I mean, Adolin is just getting shit. First, he's kicking ass.
Might be the best scene in the whole series.
Dude, the scene is just written so perfectly. Like you've already said, they don't waste any text.
It's right there as the best scene that he's ever written, besides
It's really good. I'm sure more epic things happen in the series, but the whole way this is written,
it's not
from
just
beginning
epic,
to end,
it's emotional, it's gripping.
Emotional.
Kaladin, you're getting like the best.
Shit is
Kaladin.
happening that you don't really understand as well while it's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, Adolin's kicking ass, but then he starts not kicking ass, and then he tries to forfeit, and everybody's been bought off, and it's a disaster. You're like, what is going to go down here? And I'm curious, like, is Shallan gonna? I know she has a shard blade. Like, Renarin goes in and gets his ass all handed to him. Man, when Kaladin fucking got up and went to hop in there with him, I knew it. I was like, oh my god, because not only is it a great scene, but the thing you've been waiting for, the end of the butting heads, is going to play out in this scene, and it does, and it's so goddamn good. There's nothing I love better than people just.
I love a bromance too.
Oh, dude. So, especially one that's just so, even after that, there's still a little like, there's reluctance in that friendship, but this is what put it in the direction of like, at least I can say friendship, and loved it. I just loved it. Like, it was such an impossible scene. Nobody else could do anything. Kaladin was the only character that was like, I got nothing to lose here. Fucking outie. And I texted my buddy Caton about this scene because he recently read this book too, and he loved it as well. But he was like, you know what? It kills you at the end when Kaladin gets put in prison after all that. So Sanderson has this wonderful ability through the whole end of the book. Not the end, not the Sander slide, as I'm going to call it, but just right before that, where like things are bobbing and weaving, and you're not really sure how things are gonna happen, happily or sad, and he just surprises you with something really awesome. Like Kaladin goes to jail. You're like, fuck, his whole character progression is going to go to waste because he's gonna be pissed off at Dalinar, which he kind of already is. And then Adolin comes out of that jail. So even though I felt low, he brought me back up with a new high that I had never. I just thought they were going to be boys because of the fucking arena. And then that happened, and I was like, oh my. And not only that, but then he goes, oh yeah, and Amaram? I believe you. That guy's a snake. And it's just like, oh,
yeah, it might be the best scene. It might be the best like little portion of the entire series for me.
Oh my god, I cried. I cried reading that. I
For
was just
sure. And if you
so
don't, there's something wrong with you.
yeah, I was so that's what I love about this series. It gives me that same emotion that Lord of the Rings does when something's just so epic for a certain reason that I can't help but choke up.
Yeah, and
And
at the
this
be
book did that to me so many
yes,
times.
and at this point in the series, he's writing these characters where it's not just epic. Like he is building these emotional ties to them that like Kaladin hates the nobility. Kaladin doesn't trust the nobility. Kaladin has these problems, but he's so honorable he has to jump in. But then he's punished for being honorable. So that's also bringing you down. That's not just that he's put in jail. It's that he's trying to do the right thing over and over again, but he's being punished for it, and you don't trust the nobility to save him. But who's going to do it? The best boy. Adolin will do it. And that's part of it too, right? That's part of that emotional that you have to cry.
He's hanging out with the best family that he possibly could in this entire
It's the only.
family.
What do you mean the best? It's the only one.
Well,
These
yeah, I mean
scumbags.
that's what I mean. It's Dalinar and
These scumbags.
Adolin, and it's
Scumbags.
like, thank God he got in with them because fuck,
Yeah.
they're the only ones that are so. I mean, because like I've said a billion times to you, and I'm gonna say some things about him today, but Dalinar is the man, dude. He's so good. He's such a righteous motherfucker. I love it, dude. I seriously thought he trusted Amaram. Like I seriously felt like when we were going to have him be like, "All right, you got to come say sorry to this kid." I was like, "Yo, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go." And it doesn't really. It starts off not
Not going
going well.
well. Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh my god." And then he down I was just like, "Motherfucker, I have been watching you since you got here." And I'm like, "What?" And he arrests him and it's just like,
Yeah.
"What the
And you know what's
hell?"
crazy? We've now been talking about this book for 20 minutes. We're talking about all the best scenes, the epic scenes. The end of this book is this. I don't. God, the first three are all so so freaking good to end. At the end of them, that Sander slide, whatever you want to
Better
call it.
slide. Let's try to get
Dude,
that going.
that scene where Kaladin's fighting in the sky with Zeth, and they're down, and oh my god, dude, there's a giant war going on. The Parshendi have changed. Oh my god, dude. It's so. I don't. Yeah, it's stuff that would get me.
And
You just can't stop reading it.
it's impossible odds all over the place, dude. One of the greatest scenes, I'll say this too. It's weird because I listen to some Sanderson stuff. I listen to him like talk and shit. And it seems like it doesn't seem like he's an anime guy. But I'm
No, he
reading this
is an
shit
anime
and I'm
guy.
like, is he? Because
Yeah.
he said something in one thing that I was just like, the way he said that, it almost seems like he doesn't know anything about
I don't know that
anime.
he watches it, but he likes anime. I don't know
I
if
mean,
that
he'd
means
have to
exactly.
because that's what this is. It's like it's epic fantasy meets anime. I told Brad, I was like, you need to read this series because it's like anime and fantasy came together. Kaladin coming in, okay, fucking Seth throws that guy up in the air and kills the one guy. So when he throws Dalinar up, you're like, oh my god, I know he's not gonna die, but I'm just like, how does he get out of this? And then they kind of trick you to make you think that Dalinar is the one doing it, and then Kaladin pops in his fucking Super Saiyan Blue mode, and just the most epic anime sword battle over top of a fantasy, Minas Tirith type of battle is taking place, and it was just like
And
I
all of
love
this
it.
big war and fighting leads to an incredible fantasy story development of like there's this secret city that we're hearing about, we kind of know something about, but we don't know something about that
I did
they
not think we were getting
unlock.
there in this
I don't
book.
think we were getting there until like the fourth book, like later, because they keep saying that'll
That
be how
seemed
we
like the
win the
main
war.
mystery.
That'll be how we
Yeah.
win the war. That is the main mystery. That'll be how we win the war. So you just in your mind are like, man, it's gonna take forever for us to get here. Not at the end of the second book. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I thought that was just the best.
Yeah, they're doing complete gentrification of that place by the end of that
Yeah, they
book.
fixed it.
Like
Yeah,
they move everybody in. Like by the time third book starts, it's just like, yeah, this is
we got this
the
whole
Dubois
shebang
Mall.
running.
It's
Yeah,
great. It's crazy. Yeah, and you don't feel like the pacing is off at all. Like for so much to happen, and you'd be like, that is still perfectly paced. I
yeah.
mean, Oh my god. I mean, we're not even talking some of the things that happened before even the ending. Like, let's talk a little, not even we don't even talk about it. Let me just mention it. Kaladin and Shallan falling into a fucking hole and having to like become friends and actually maybe become more was awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
loved the fuck out. It's both of their perspectives. It's how they see the situation. Both think the other saved, each other, and Kaladin's bitching at her because of who she is, and she kind of goes along with it for a while until finally she's just like, "Yeah, except my life's a fucking nutshell, Miguel." And Kaladin's like, "Oh fuck," and it's just like that whole in a lesser book, all of that stuff would have been wasted time, I think. But in that book, I was so into it. They're getting chased by the beast. They don't know about each other's powers. It's just so
Oh,
good.
it's the
And
best.
like and I thought they were just becoming friends. If they would have even just became friends, I would have been like, what a way. It's almost the same as him and Adeline a little bit. It's just these crazy good ways to make characters become friends. And then maybe there's a love triangle. Hard to tell. I think her and Adeline have good chemistry, but I mean, I guess her and Kaladin, you'd know more than
I'd
I.
be
Um,
remiss not to say this is the highest rated book on Goodreads. I mean, that's what you need to know. It's the best book ever. It's the
I'm talking it
series.
with such energy too. It pumps me up
Yeah,
these
it's
scenes.
the best. Yeah, the first three books are all 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. They are so perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about any of the first three books.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I
And then
mean,
the fifth book is the worst thing I've ever read in my life. What's that? What's that? Oh,
that's too bad. You can't, you win some, you lose some.
you
That's
win the
the thing.
battle and you lose the war.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I, that's why I'm taking a break after I read the
Yeah,
third
just
one. We're
never
gonna
go
we're gonna
back.
we're gonna geek out about the third one after I finish
Well, the
it.
third one's so good too. But the second book, yeah, I think it's still the highest rated book on Goodreads. It's pretty
Probably.
impressive.
I can't imagine somebody finishing this book and just being like 4 out of 5 stars. Like, what? What
Yeah,
are you doing then?
it's
Adeline kills Sadius? Dude, when I called you, let's talk about that for just a second. I had one chapter and an epilogue left in this book. And so Jake called me and we were talking. So I was like, dude, I'm basically done with this book. Let me tell you about all these awesome things that happen. Adolin breaks through the back of the mountain to kill all the Pershenia. How epic. Seth gets killed but resurrected, and that's awesome because I was worried that was a wasted character. Blah 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 blah. I thought I knew it all. And then I read the next chapter, and fucking Dalinar became buds with God. He got his own spren, and that was pretty epic. Oh, and then Adolin. Actually, I think Adolin kills Sadius first. But like, Sadius just says some bullshit shit. Adolin's like, I'm sick of this shit. And you as a reader are like, I'm a little sick of this shit too. But I guess if we're gonna do this in the next book, we've done it so far, I guess we'll keep doing it. And then Adolin kills that motherfucker, and it's just like, well, that's over. And he's been wanting to kill him since his introduction chapter in the first book. So I was like, hell yeah. Didn't think it'd be so easy. Chucks his sword blade off the side of the deck and off he runs to the third book. It's insane.
yeah, it is a perfect book.
And
I
Siobhan killed her mom and dad, and her dad was psycho because of her. Crazy. Oh my god. Great story. Even though I knew that was going to be the case. Crazy. Loved reading about it.
if I can divert for 1 second,
Yep.
I did know of one book that is rated higher. I just wasn't sure if
Oh
it was
yeah.
still rated higher. Do you know what book that is?
Shut the fuck up. That's rated higher.
And guess what?
Wow, that's
And
a
guess
lot
what?
newer of a
And
book.
guess what?
Less people have read it. What?
It's really fucking good.
I
Like
I
it's
know, dude.
it's deserving, is what I'm trying to tell you.
So when I finished the second book, I was gonna start picking back up on Iron Gold to get that going, or whatever it's
Man,
called.
is that good? I really want to
Just so I
reread
can
that
get to that
series.
book.
I really want to reread that series.
I am once I finish Oathbringer, I
Barrel
am
Gauge
picking
is
that
really,
back.
really good too.
That's the fifth one.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I need to get back into space. I've been having a lot of fun though here on the ground.
I gotta get back
And
on.
in the
I need to get back on the
sky.
ground. I need to get back on the ground. I'm gonna read. I think I'm gonna read the Dragonbone Chair when I'm done with Hadrian. That's very
We have
like.
that book on the van. Do you want me to read that?
We can do it together when the time comes. It's very classic fantasy, like the most classic fantasy. Inspired George R. R. Martin, inspired Robert Jordan. So, yeah,
We like those.
we
We
like
like
those
half those
gentlemen.
guys. We like their books.
Yeah, I fucking hate George R. R. Sorry, I
Yeah,
freaking hate
yeah.
George R. R. Martin.
I might get slapped in the face because of that motherfucker.
Yeah, I've heard the book is turned in. I keep hearing that. I hear that once a year. I hear it every year. That the rumors start. It's turned in. It's turned in. Okay. Words of Radiance. Final thoughts. Very important. It is a book that is Sanderson, who is the most popular fantasy writer at the height of his powers. It is when he is doing every little thing that he does well. He's not just doing it well, he's doing it perfectly. And the things he does wrong, he's not doing here. He is mixing that where he can build and drop and build and drop. He's building characters. He's building world while still simultaneously giving you story that you can't put down. It is a perfect book by one of the biggest authors of all time at the peak of his powers. It's very important.
Well said. Well said. To put it in a different light, in a different perspective, not a different perspective. Let's word it the Chase method. Um, this book got me so fantasy the fuck up that I just want to eat fantasy. I just want to eat. Like, it was so good. It was so well written, goddamn fantasy that I watched the Two Towers the other day because I was like, what can I watch that's fantasy? And there's really not a lot, and I just want more of it. So I jumped in. I finished that book, and I went, oh, I just finished reading the biggest book I've ever read. And then I picked up the next one, and went, and now I'm gonna read the biggest book I'll ever read that I've ever read. So it never ends. They're big ass books. They're heavy. Oh my god, I'm reading Oathbringer, and my arm is hurting sometimes. I'm just like, God. And I'm not like a weak dude. That's a big ass book. Great shit though. Love it. Love it. 10 out of 10. If I could erase my brain, if I could do like Dalinar to do his wife, erase it and read it again, I would. And I wouldn't put a gap in between like where I started. Like this took me a while to read. Same thing's not happening with the third book because of this book.
End of the Wheel of
How's
Time
that?
is better.
I will get there though. I will. We're gonna get there. I will get there. I wheel of time. All right, everybody.
Love
Thanks
you.
for listening.